Hello and welcome back to my video. This time I'm painting a ouija board for Brittany. She asked me to paint the Black Dahlia, which I'm currently doing, Aileen Wuornos herself on that corner, and cat here. So I'm doing this video, which will last about 30 minutes, to show you how I do the details for each corner. So I'm focusing on the Black Dahlia here. I did a sketch of her. This is based on a mugshot of her that was taken several months before she was found dead, cut in half. Maybe when that photo was taken, she was living in the Cecil Hotel. Not sure about that, but yeah, because she was a regular at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. So, Black Dahlia. Very interesting portrait, if you ask me. It's gonna be interesting to include her in a ouija board, and I'm pretty sure that Brittany, for who I am painting this board, with the séance in the Cecil Hotel to invoke her spirit. So I'm paying special attention to making this portrait look as realistic as possible. And later on I am going to include dirt from the actual site where her body was found. I have it in a vial here, so I'm going to include the soil into the hair. And yeah, it will be a very unique piece to invoke the spirit of the Black Dahlia. Black Dahlia was the subject of several paintings. You probably have seen the paintings by Marilyn Manson of her. I did several paintings of the Black Dahlia. One of them is in the Deaf Dealers calendar, the 2021 calendar that I did with the NHNF. It is still on for sale on his site. And Black Dahlia was January. So I'm paying attention to the makeup too. As you know, she was an aspiring actress, and nobody really knows who killed her. There's several theories. It probably was somebody who was fascinated with surgery, but it's a fascinating case. It was adapted to film, and she's also a character in the series American Horror Story. And it's an interesting subject to paint. Alright. So you can't really tell from that angle, but yeah, this is the board. So far there's Cat, Brittany, and there will be Aileen. I haven't worked on Aileen yet, but I will, as usual, I will post the final result on my Facebook page. So yeah, before I do a board, I always print out the portraits that I'm gonna use. Usually I always use mug shots from the side for the corners, but sometimes I use front mug shots. I like the idea of keeping a symmetry, so those portraits up there are on the side and the portraits down are facing the user of the board. Right, I did spray some blood, but I will spray some more because it needs to be more blood splattered, plus I need to splatter the faces with my blood. Alright, yeah, let's focus on that girl. So usually it takes me yeah, about an hour and a half to complete one of the portraits on the board. And yeah, maybe the most difficult aspect of it is to highlight the facial structure of the skull, the cheekbones, the forehead. I use different brushes, so I can actually blend the shades of gray. Yeah. So as you can see here, I'm more or less outlining the structure of the skull under the skin, and we will start from that. When I was a morgue attendant, one of the things that I would do was makeup. You know, when you work with the dead, you kind of become a makeup artist because you have to apply the makeup on dead people. So you have those, it's basically the same makeup that you use on living people, right? I even used Chanel makeup on some of the dead people that I would prepare. And when you paint portraits, it's really interesting to use that knowledge of makeup. Because it helps you with the shadings and, you know, the contours, things like that. You develop an eye for making the painting more realistic. So yeah, I wouldn't say I was great at making up, using the makeups on dead people, because, you know, I liked, I don't know, you know, the French school of makeup on dead people is that you must make it look more or less like natural. Okay, I know that American embalmers, they tend to use a lot of makeup so that the dead people are, I don't know, they're covered with layers and layers of makeup. But French people, it's only upon request that French embalmers and French morgue attendants use makeup. So yeah, we do not usually like to apply too much. We like to keep it more natural, especially when it's old people, because you wouldn't like to see your grandmother covered with lipstick and rouge and big eyelashes, or it's vulgar, right? Yeah. Black Dahlia didn't need much makeup after she was dead, because she had this huge grin on her face that her killer had carved. So yeah, I imagine that the embalmer and that the morgue attendant who had to prepare her body didn't use much makeup on her. I don't even think that there was viewings, because given the state of her mutilated body, I can't imagine that they actually organize a wake or an open casket thing. But you can see her morgue photos easily. I wonder if the guy was paid, by the way. Sometimes back in the days, journalists would pay morgue attendants so they could get exclusive photos of celebrities who were dead, like Marilyn Monroe, for example. Or that was something that it existed. And there was a famous case in France. I think what was her name? Romy Schneider. She was an actress. She died, and photos were leaked from the morgue. And since it was an aristocrat family, they sued the newspapers that used those morgue photos. And because of that, from then on, journalists were not allowed to use those kind of photos anymore. So yeah, there's a law in France regarding taking photos of dead people. You are not supposed, and you're not allowed to take photos of a dead person without the consent of the family, right? So that's a thing. You can even go to jail for that. If you take a photo of a dead person's face and you publish it somewhere without asking the family first, you go to jail. That's how it goes. Of course, it never happens, but yeah. When I was working in the morgue, there was a lot of some of my colleagues that were taking lots of selfies and photos with dead people. That's a thing that people who work with the dead, they do it. So okay, is this on focus? I don't know. I think it's on focus. Yeah. Let's bring some facial structure to that painting. All right. So yeah, as I said before, I will include dirt from the place where she was found, and this will give more power to the ouija board. I often say that in interviews, but This is something that I strongly believe in. If you use grave dirt or soil or objects or fibers of stuff that belong to the persons who are featured on the board, then the board is more effective, of course. So this Ouija board will definitely help invoke the spirit of the Black Dahlia. Maybe the person who will use it will ask her who her killer was. That would be interesting. I'd like to know. Maybe it was somebody in Hollywood. Interesting. But yeah, it's one of those very rare cases of victims who became more famous than their killer. Of course, her killer was never caught, so... But even if he had been caught, I guess that she would have still have been more famous than him. That's a guess. Needs more shade. So painting is about layers. You apply layer after layer after layer, and you go from a dark base to a lighter base, because for example, white, it's transparent, so you see the colors under it, and this is why you first go from a very dark gray, and then you apply layer after layer of white, so it looks more ghostly. Looks like a ghost, right? The ghost of the Black Dahlia. Okay, she has a very pointy nose from the side. I always put a glimpse of light in the pupil here. Yeah. Let's see how I could actually make it more visible. Yeah. Shooting from above is really it's quite something. Up. Yeah, okay. Should wear a GoPro for this, honestly. Okay. I think it's time for painting eyelashes. Give more dense intensity to her eyes. She had very, very pronounced eyebrows. Yeah. So this is just the beginning, okay? The way I see it, I have to put more black here. Make it straight. And yeah, good. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's only girls in that ouija board, which is quite refreshing. It's really interesting concept for a board. So once again, here are the other portraits that I did for the board. So this is Brittany. This is Cat. Alright. This will be Aileen. She looks more like Axl Rose right now, but yeah, it will be Aileen. And I'm working on Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short. And I will include soil from the place where she was found. Okay. So I'm gonna work on the curls. That's a very interesting haircut. Right. And the challenge is to add more volume to the curls. To make it instantly recognizable. So for those who haven't seen it, I have a new video on my YouTube channel. Okay, go to Serial Pleasures on YouTube, and there's a new video on how to pronounce the names of your favorite serial killers. It's a funny video, and you will learn a few things. How you pronounce my Vess, for example, and lots of names that you're used to reading in true crime books, but sometimes you don't even know how to pronounce them. Oh yeah. Okay. The thing I do with hair is that I like to make it look like it's 3D. Alright. So when you run your finger in the hair, there's volume, there's several layers of paint. So you might wonder why I don't listen to music when I paint. Because it distracts me. I'm really focused on what I do, and I know that most painters, they like to listen to music, but I can't. I listen to podcasts or whatever, but I just can't listen to music. Yeah. It's probably also due to the fact that I learned how to paint in a very, very quiet environment, which was prison. Prison per se isn't really quiet, of course. There's always lots of people shouting and listening to TV, or, you know. But sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night when everything was quiet and work on a painting. And I found some kind of inner peace while doing this. So it's probably the reason why I don't like to listen to music when I paint. Because silence helps me focus on what I do. Okay, I'll probably go back to that painting after a while. This is what I usually do, because it helps to see the defaults and the things that you can do better. I'm not satisfied with the eyes, for example, right there. Not satisfied about several aspects of the nose. So I'll go back to that painting later. Make it better. Okay. Yeah, it's not quite yet. So her eyes are too big, and yeah, I can definitely see what's the problems. I'm gonna work on that. Okay. Painting is no easy. You have to go back and forth and back and forth. And sometimes it's really small detail that make a difference. Yeah. Recently I did a podcast that you might find interesting. It's with that guy we did, Doctorist. Do you remember that guy? Doctorist on Netflix. David Fourier. So he's not doing a season 2. We were supposed to do a season 2 in Paris, and I was supposed to show him around the graveyards, etc. So it would have been my first documentary for Netflix. It would have been fun. But they decided not to make a season 2, and so he's doing a podcast, and we recorded the podcast last week. So I will let you know where to download it or listen to it, stream it. It's something about that guy, that actor who was arrested, was not arrested, but he was accused of having cannibal fantasies. I can't remember his name. So it was all over the news recently, and David wanted to ask me a few questions about the subject. So there's that. I will let you know when it's available. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dark Tourist yet, I strongly recommend it. Very interesting show. There's a few people I know who participated to it, and some of the places that is showing in the series, I've been there. All the places in Europe, and so yeah, it's too bad that there's no season 2, because it could have been cool. But yeah, you never know. Another platform maybe. Yeah, I don't like her nose at all, so I'm gonna give her a nose job. And I hope that I won't botch her nose job. But yeah, she needs something more elegant. Yeah, there. Okay, better. Okay, starting to look like her, I think. Yeah. I have to see what's up. Okay, I'm gonna work on the facial structures because they need improvement. Okay, I'm gonna stop this video now because I have to do something else. Thank you for watching. I will post the results pretty soon. You can comment, alright, and see you soon for another video.